Hello and welcome to my list of the top 10 shows of 2019. So just to keep in mind, this is my list. So this isn't necessarily a list of the best shows of 2019. It's the list of the best shows that I watched in 2019. So this means that there's going to be some things that came out in 2019 that I might not have seen. Like, I know I've heard great things about The Boys and Watchmen, some other things that, I really want to see and I plan to see at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but they won't be on my 2019 list because I haven't seen them yet. And this also means that there could be some things that I watched that came out before 2019 that I ended up watching in 2019, and that's why it's on the list. Like, for example, my number one on the list is the entirety of a show that came out before 2019. It's one of the best shows that exists. And yeah, there's a short list of shows you can guess. But I will say in general, I don't think the shows that I watched in 2019 in general were as good typically as they are most years. Because I didn't have anything that stood out besides the number one pick as being fantastic, Everything else was just really good at best, Not the kind of really good, oh man, I love that. More like that was pretty good. That was pretty good, but I didn't love it kind of thing. I don't know if I should even say that, because, I don't want to sound like I'm disappointed in the quality of the shows or anything like that. Just saying, it didn't feel quite as good as most years. I don't want it to be an indictment against the shows on the list, and definitely, I guess sort of an indictment the shows that aren't on the list, If they didn't make the list, I don't have that high of an opinion of them after all. Anyway, I've spent 2 minutes just rambling. Anyway, let's get onto the list, and I'll try and make it fast. Real quick though, in some cases it's just a season of a show. So for example, Stranger Things season 3 came out this year. So I'm only gonna be, and I've already seen the first 2 seasons before this year. So I only watched the 3rd season because that's all that came out. That's all I could watch. Well, for some other shows, I ended up watching either a season because I got started, or I watched half of a show and haven't watched the rest of it yet, or I watched the entirety of a show from the beginning in just this year. Which, number 10 is a good example of that, where I watched the entirety of number 10 regular show in 2019. I had seen a few episodes before 2019, I knew what it was, I knew how the show generally worked, but I'd never sat down and watched all of it until this year. And regular show is pretty damn good. I think it kind of suffers from the fact that it's not anywhere near as funny or inventive as some of the shows that it kind of was around and is compared to. It's not Adventure Time, it's not Gravity Falls, and it's not losing the word, Amazing World of Gumball. It's not anywhere near as creative as those. But it's kind of hard to be. Those shows are fantastic, and I don't want it to be a kind of bashing on regular show thing, because regular show is really good. That's why I have it on the list. And especially that last season, it got really emotional. They really, really packed a lot into that final season. And I will always love a regular show for its ability to take the most mundane things, here's just going to the store to buy something, and turn it into the most fantastical, super crazy adventure ever. That was the calling card of the show to me. Its ability to take anything regular and turn it into something incredible. And that's why it's on this list. Regular show was really, really damn good. So number 9, Hilda. It's only got 1 season for now. I don't know if it has any more coming out, but I'm pretty sure it does. I'd be surprised if it didn't, but I don't know for sure. Hilda was actually really, really good. It's a very low intensity kind of show. You don't have huge action moments. It's a lot of things where intense things are happening, but they kind of take it at a slow pace, sort of. It's just them having a day and, oh wow, that actually happened, to have something interesting going on when we were just trying to have a normal day. Instead of like the Gravity Falls or Phineas Ferb type thing where they're going out and making something incredible. This was more slice of life, I guess, but had a lot of the same elements as some of these more fantasy type shows. And it was really, really well done. The art's amazing. The characters are surprisingly deep. And the writing was pretty great. But let's move on to number 8, Chernobyl. This was more of a mini-series than like a full season. And I don't see how they could have a season 2 since they covered all the events of Chernobyl in the season 1. So it's Chernobyl 2, The Future Meltdown or something like that. Coming soon. Anyway, this was like a really intense show that covered like the events of the nuclear power plant in Chernobyl, Ukraine, blowing up, and it covered like the events of why it blew up and the fallout, both literally and figuratively, of what happened because of this. And it was like just a really, really interesting show because, you know, that kind of thing is like super interesting in general. Just like nuclear fallout, that's cool. It's not fun, it's definitely not pretty, but it's a really crazy thing to wrap your head around. And the show came out pretty damn great. So number 7, the end of the season. I don't know if it was the full season, I'd need to check, but at least the back part of season 5 of Steven Universe. Man, Steven Universe, it did a lot of things wrong in this final season, but I didn't even notice at first. It took a while before I noticed like all the flaws, and like it took partly because a lot of people on YouTube pointed them out, of where they took because something you need to know about Steven Universe is that they really, really, really take their time. They have a lot of patience. They will commit so much time to character work, to development. And so whenever they don't do that, you still have these fantastic characters and a good overall story, but you can tell that they didn't take their time with the change your mind part of the finale, pretty much. Because a lot of the things they did, spoiler alert, if I do say any spoilers, I don't know if I will, but just throwing that out there, spoiler alert. But a lot of it, like White Diamond should not have come over to their side as easily as they did. The other two diamonds should not have come over as easily as they did. The show really, really, really tried to, pressure things to get over with for some reason, and they really could have taken like a full season or more just to take the events of the last like 5 or 6 episodes and to finish it. So it's kind of crazy that they just kind of pushed it out this fast for some reason. I don't know why. But even when it's bad, Steven Universe is really good because the characters are really good, the story is really good, and even when they make some major failures, bad decisions, it still turned out pretty alright. It was still like really entertaining, still really heartfelt, and had like one of the craziest moments I've ever seen. I just wish they'd given it the proper time to breathe. So number 6, The Americans Season 1. So, this is the only season I've watched so far. I have yet to watch Season 2 and on, but I've heard that it is one of the best shows, period. But, yeah, this first season was pretty great. It wasn't, it didn't blow me out of the park. I could see how it could become really great, but it wasn't quite great yet. It had a lot of great moments, but it wasn't overall that great, which is why it's only number 6 instead of higher. But I have full confidence that this show can become even better. For those of you that know, if you want like a really, really high stakes, intense, really well thought out show, much in the veins of Game of Thrones in its heyday, or Breaking Bad through its entirety, Americans is the way to go. So number 5, The Mandalorian. Okay, it's kind of weird to say this, but I'm kind of unsure of whether I should have placed it this high. Because The Mandalorian was really, really damn good. But I do think there was a lot of areas where people are kind of just glossing over the weaker parts of the show just because it's something good in Star Wars, and they need that right now. After The Rise of Skywalker, they really needed The Mandalorian to be good. And it was, which is good. That's a good thing. It's a great distraction for those that are just kind of want a distraction from the movies. But it's not perfect. It's really damn good, which is why I have it this high. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have bumped it down a few spots. I don't know. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Then number 4, and I'm not sure why I had this high either. But Stranger Things season 3. So like I said earlier, I've already seen the first 2 seasons. Season 1 is fantastic. Season 2 is not quite as fantastic, but has its moments. And Season 3 is kind of in the middle. Mike continues his evolution, or de-evolution, I guess, to becoming the most hateable character in television right now. Like, I can't stand that kid anymore. He was good in Season 1, Season 2 he was bad, and then Season 3 he was worse. Everybody else is overall pretty alright. The show's... I feel like it has a bit less thought put into it in the second and third seasons than it did the first season. But it's still just fun, and it feels nostalgic, so like, you can forgive it, I guess. It makes it work. I don't know what else to add, so let's just move on to number 3. The Punisher Season 2. Punisher Season 1 was great, and I fully expected the second season to drop the ball, just because that seems to be what every Marvel show does. All the Netflix Marvel shows. Daredevil 2, Season 2 was worse than Season 1. Jessica Jones was a lot worse than Season 1. Because, first season of Jessica Jones was one of the best things on Netflix, period. But Season 2 was kind of bad. And Season 3 was pretty alright. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. But yeah, anyway, Punisher Season 2 was actually pretty good. I don't think it was quite as good as Season 1, but the fact that it wasn't that far off says a lot. I don't know what else to add, so let's move on to number 2. Sorry, I don't know why, but I'm having like a lot of brain farts. My mind's just starting and stopping, and I can't think of anything at the moment. Kind of tired. Anyway, let's move on to number 2. BoJack Horseman. Pretty much the entire show. I don't think the second half of Season 6 has come out yet, but I have watched the first half. So I watched the entirety of BoJack Horseman, and it was quite a trip. Like, damn. The funny horse talks about depression sometimes. Ha ha ha. And boy does it. BoJack Horseman was like really it was usually funny, and sometimes got really, really deep. And I was kind of surprised that Aaron Paul's character, his name escapes me at the moment, but I expected to just stay like the comic relief character, and he actually got emotional investment, and I was kind of surprised. Like, they actually developed him. I did not expect them to, but they did. BoJack himself is an asshole, and he remains an asshole, although he changes how he's an asshole depending on the season, basically. I don't know what else to add. Sorry, I can't seem to think at this time, so I'm struggling to think of what to add to these things. So I'll probably keep number 1 pretty short. Well, first though, let's talk about some honorable mentions. I'm just going to mention them. The 100 Season 6. The ending of Adventure Time. That was this year, right? Pretty sure that was this year. But I think it was just a couple episodes, but the ending of Adventure Time. All of Black Mirror. The end of the fucking world. Sorry for the language. The end of the effing world, Season 2. Ozark Season 2, and then Dragon Prince Seasons 1 through 3 are my honorable mentions. They're all pretty good. Feel free to check them out. Then number 1, a show that I should have watched already, but I had not yet until now, Breaking Bad. I don't think I even need to really say anything. It's one of the best shows there is. If you've seen it, you already know why. I don't think it's quite as good as it's made out to be. Like, people talk about it like it's an absolute masterpiece, and it's fantastic, but it's not quite like the best thing ever made to me. It just feels like a tiny bit overhyped, not too much, but a little bit overhyped. But again, it was a fantastic show that does, like, you know, it's definitely one of the greats, and and deserves to go down as one of the greats. And that's it for my top 10 shows of 2019. Sorry if the list isn't quite to your liking. Make your own. Feel free. Comment, make your own video, however you want to do it. Make your own. Opinions are opinions. Should be 3 other videos coming along with this. I don't know if they're all going to be posted at the same time or not. That's something for future me to decide. They might be all at the same time. They might be one a day, something like that. But they all should be on a new channel. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Watch the video all the way through. Give me that watch time. It helps the channel grow, believe me. It's depressing to see like something like, oh, there's 1 view on a video for 3 seconds. Cool. But even that's better than no views at all. I guess I'm rambling again. So anyway, I'll go ahead and stop this. I will see you all in another video. Bye.